name, and so if you want to let us know where you're from, or if you would like us to see anything in particular. If you've never seen EasyOrder before, I definitely would like to show you that part in the webinar. So just kind of let us know what you're looking for, and this is kind of an open session webinar. There's not really a plan to it. So if I don't hear from you, then I'll just go ahead and kind of do the presentation on what we were going to do. But if you want to see anything specific, please let us know. Okay, so we're talking today about purchasing, and one of the benefits of EasyOrder is to have, a lot of people think locally when they think about marketing, and you don't necessarily have to think locally. I mean, there's only a finite number of people in your area that will do business with you, and there's a lot. You mentioned today you had a customer that came in that was 5 hours away, and so that's also a great customer because you don't have to deliver to them. You can have everything drop shipped, and it's great. And so the more customers you get like that, you got to think outside your local network. I mean, local's great to start, and obviously that's the core of your business because you can meet them and shake their hand and do all that. But with EasyOrder and some of those things I'll show you about LinkedIn today, you can really expand your sales radius outside and pick and choose your customers and all that. So when we talk about EasyOrder, you can have customers, and then each customer can have different order forms. So each order form is a location. This one in particular has 5 locations. And so, I have this set up for Abilene, Austin, Dallas, Houston. So I'm from Texas, so this is all over Texas, and you can get customers like this. In fact, a lot of our subscribers will get one location of a customer and then love the system so much that they end up getting multiple locations for that customer. Hey, you did so good on the Austin location, I'm going to give you all the rest of ones and use EasyOrder for that. And so you can set up multiple locations. So one customer, this action accounting, can have multiple locations. And I've had literally anywhere from 20 locations. I've had a recent subscriber get a huge customer, and we set up a 4,000 location customer with a template and everything else. We had another customer just the other day, 1,000 locations with a template attached. So you can really have as many customers as you want to, and EasyOrder can handle them all. So a lot of people say that if I had a customer like that, I couldn't handle all the business, but with EasyOrder you definitely can. So here's all the locations for the customer. Now, what if the customer said, okay, I have all these locations, but now I want something where I want to approve each order. I want a centralized purchaser that either is going to order for everybody and they're just going to make the order, or everybody's going to order and then I want approval for that order. I got a text chat here. Cool. Byron said, I don't have a mic. I'm new to EasyOrder. We'll soak up anything. Awesome. And this is live, Lisa. Yep, today. All right, Byron, I appreciate that, and I will definitely get you some information. This is a little bit advanced for the EasyOrder operations, but we can always do a one-on-one session outside of this webinar, and I can go through like the basics with you. So make sure you get with me on that, and I can go through the basics and give you a one-on-one training. But I'll continue with this webinar. So all these locations are here, and they need a purchaser. And so we absolutely have a very robust purchasing system, through EasyOrder. So if you go back and you look at this action accounting again, and you scroll down over here, it says purchasers. So it says manage the purchasing process for this customer. So you can click on this, and I've already set up a purchaser here. I'm just going to delete it real quick so I can set him up again. But okay, so manage purchasers. There's no purchasers here for this account. They have 5 locations. I'm going to click on new, and you can set up different account types. So there's a regular purchaser, well, no, this is not a sales account, so it's just a purchaser. So you can set up a purchaser. You put in their username. I'm going to call this Action CP. I always use CP with a central purchaser, so I know that's a central purchaser login. Just like everything else, you can leave that strong password that we have there. If you want to change it to something more simple, you can. Again, most of these people won't need to use their username and password because of our desktop icon link that we have. And so when they have the desktop icon, they just click on that, and their username and password's all embedded into there, and then they can go right to their order form. So keep the secure password. Set up the purchaser's name, Sue Smith, and I'm going to use my email address for the person, and you just put in whatever their phone number is. And you see over here, these are all the locations that we have in the account. So there's 5 locations. And so you can set this up in a variety of different ways depending on how the customer wants to order. If the locations themselves just want to order, and then this person just needs to be informed of orders, copied on orders, you just leave it like this. And basically when you save this central purchaser, Sue Smith, at this email address will just get an email every time these guys order. So they're aware that they're ordering. So a lot of times you want a central purchaser that just wants to be informed. Also, if you have, if somebody else goes, well, I want the confirmations to go to Sue and me, and you just want an extra person to get copied on orders, you can create a central purchaser just like this and don't check anything, and this person will just be a secondary person that gets copied on orders. So there you go for that. That's the basic, most simple version of a central purchaser. Now, what if, and basically, here's the deal. To enable this purchaser to be over these 5, you have to click all, and then they're allowed to be over these locations. So once you have this set up and you hit save, these guys order, and this person gets copied. Now, then we have the approval. What if these guys order, and this person wants to, one thing before I go to that next step, also if this purchaser wants to order for all these locations, they can also do that. And so when they log in, they get a different view that can basically see all the order forms and go to the order forms and place the order. Okay, so if you need approval, so if these people order and this person actually needs to approve the order, you can set approval level 1, and then you set all levels. I'll just say 1. That sets everything to level 1. So that means when this person orders, the central purchaser, Sue Smith, gets an email that says you have orders to approve, and then they can look at the order and approve the order. When she does that, it goes back to them as approved, and then you also get an approved status order. And so that's a really great feature, because a lot of people want approval, and a lot of purchasing people want to put PO numbers in the order. So this allows them to order from here. The purchaser can get to it. They can put the PO number in, and they can send it back approved. So that gives you a full cycle of approval for a customer. Now, if you don't have approval on all these guys and you don't want to approve, but let's just say you have a district manager. So let's say there's 400 accounts here, and there are district managers who only handle a certain section, kind of like master franchisers. There are people who only handle certain sections of the country. You can do that too. So let's say this customer has a bunch of locations, and you only want the purchaser to be over a certain number of locations. So let's say Sue was only over this one and this one. You can set it up where you're just checking which ones they're over, and you're limiting the restrictions of who gets to see what account. And so if Sue's a district manager, she's only over these 2 locations, you just check the 2 locations, and now you have like a district manager sort of set up. And again, you can also do approval level 1 on that if you'd like to. Level 2, if you ever wanted to do a level 2 approval, you'd have to have more than 1 purchaser. And so you could create a new purchaser here, and I'll call this Action 2 CP. And I'll just use my information, controller, RemanResource.com, and whatever phone number we have there. Again, all locations, and if you wanted to have a level 2 approval, you would just select 2. And now what would happen here, if I save this, when any of the locations ordered, Sue would get an email saying, you have orders to approve, but Kat would not. Kat was the higher level purchaser. Once Sue approves it, then Kat gets the email saying you have orders to approve. And then once that is approved by the highest level purchaser, it all trickles down. Sue gets a thing that Kat approved it. The location gets an email that it's been approved by everybody. And of course, you get the email that shows that it's been approved by everybody. So we have a really robust purchasing system in the account, and that's just because there's so many levels of customers out there, especially the larger B2B customers that you really want to be going for, that are going to need this type of setup. And if you can show, a lot of times with larger customers, I've helped people pitch larger customers. So they come to me and they're like, Kat, I have this 100 location customer, and I'm doing a pitch with them tomorrow. Can you help me set them up? And we'll go through and we'll set up like a dummy account that has 100 customers in there, and we can show the customer what it looks like and how we can handle it. It may not have all the correct information on it, but we can show them how they can handle it. And so I've helped people get deals with larger customers just by showing this. One of the customers, Liberty Tax, that's for one of our subscribers. He has a bunch of Liberty Tax locations. The owner of that Liberty Tax group basically said, before ordering for our company was chaos, and you guys have made this an order out of chaos, and so I would not stop doing business with you guys, because this has just changed the way we order, and it's just so much more streamlined. And you, as the reseller of these cartridges, you want to look as professional as you can. And so EasyOrder is kind of the front-facing part of your business, and the more you use it, the more professional you look. And so that's why we tell you, put every customer on it. Put your old customers, put your new customers, put everything on it. And so anyway, that's just an overview of purchasing, and I just wanted to go over that because I don't think I've had a video on this part. And so talk about how to get customers. We went over this a little bit before in another webinar, but I've talked to a couple people and they just want me to expand more, kind of go over it again, because the quote conversion ratio for some people is really low. I mean, it's almost like you're throwing stuff at the wall and it's just not sticking. In one of the larger franchises we work with, it was about 10% conversion rate on quotes, which is really low, especially how we preach, to get every customer to, when you send a quote, get every customer to, let me preview it, get every customer to click on this Order Now button. We did get feedback from Bill and some other people that the Order Now button was a little committal for people. They were afraid to click on that because they think they need to actually buy. And so we're going to change this verbiage on the button. It's now going to say Show Order Form. And so it'll say, don't forget, you can place an order right from this quote. Click on Show Order Form to create your online order form. And so we'll change this to Show Order Form so that when you quote a customer, it's not so committal. And you want them to click on this button, because as soon as you click Show Order Form or Order Now, it converts this quote into a working order form. And so you can go from having a quote that the customer's looking at to getting them an order form in your system. And that's way more important than just showing them a quote or leaving the quote with them. If you can stop this, or not stop this, but if you can end this conversation with, here's your quote, here's all your items, here's the retail price, that's what we're going to charge you. You could save this much if you order today. And let me show you how to order from me. Click on Show Order Form, and we'll create the order form together. And then once they click this, it converts this quote from a PDF into a working order form that they can order directly from. And so if you leave your customer with, this is how you order from me, it's way more impactful than just leaving them a quote that's in an email that will get lost. This also sends out the welcome email when you do that. The welcome email contains a link to get back to the quote from a desktop icon that they can download. Contains a video that shows them, has this video that shows them how to get from the welcome email that they have directly to placing an order. It shows them what all that means and how to click on it. And so it gives them all the tools right from the welcome email to get into their account. And so we have that new video in there, and that should really help with that. So that's the quote. Now, how do you get these into more effective customers? And that's an issue people are having. It's like I send out 100 quotes and I only get maybe 10 responding to it or converted. and that's about the average for everybody right now. Just quotes are rough. It's a hard sales process. But if you can do it in a way where, one, it's really important. We talked about this earlier. It's very important to respond quickly to your quotes. I wrote a bunch of articles. Got a question here. Lisa says, I usually customize the welcome email because there are specific things to know about certain cartridges. I shouldn't do that anymore, right? Because it needs to be a universal message. Yeah, the welcome email needs to be just the welcome email. I mean, you can customize it, say, hey, welcome to Cartridge World, your Cartridge World, or welcome to your business, and customize those things. But I would save that for a different email. If you need to send an email about specific things to the customer about the cartridges, then do that in a separate email. But let the welcome email kind of stand alone as it is. You put too much in there, it's going to derail them. I've in marketing throughout my life, I always have to make sure that I'm not doing too much, because I've heard this analogy, throughout my life, that marketing is like a funnel, or it's like a chute, and you're leading. The analogy was, it's kind of like leading cows to the slaughter. And if you have a chute and you put a window on the side of the chute, cows are going to stop and look out the window. And so adding extra stuff to something that's meaning to get somebody somewhere or get somebody to do something is like putting a window on the side of the chute. You're going to get people to be distracted, and they're not going to do what you want them to do, which is go where they need to go. And so anyway, that's a good analogy for this. I mean, I have to check myself on this all the time. Should my website have this on it? Do I need a blog on my website? Well, all that seems very distracting to get people to sign up for EasyOrder. And so our website is only 3 pages. It's very simple because we're just trying to get that message across. So yeah, I would save anything particular about cartridges for a separate email or a different contact. You can always customize your quote to have information on there. There's a way for you to do that. There's a place for you to, if you were to edit a quote, I just put hate paying for toner. We can help. And so if you save that and then you preview that again, you can put a special message on there as well on the quote. So that'd probably be where you'd put the message if I was to do that. The welcome email, just kind of leave it as it is. Okay, now talking about how to get the right kind of customers who are going to respond to your inquiries and your requests for quotes. A lot of people hit the streets and they go out and they hit the pavement and they do the cold, hard call, and you can do that. It's part of the business. But there are other ways to market, and I've talked about this before, but people requested I talk about it again, and so I will add some more about LinkedIn to the conversation. And so on LinkedIn, it's very important as a business to have a LinkedIn profile. LinkedIn is like Facebook for business, but it's much deeper than that. It's not just like, a lot of people just think I go there and I look at businessy articles and look at businessy stuff, and that's all I need to do. It really, that's just the scratch surface of LinkedIn. LinkedIn is kind of like your business card online. One, you need to establish an account. So that's the first thing. 2, you need to get your customers to recommend you. When I go down here to recommendations, here's a recommendation. This one was by Mike, and I really appreciate that. We've been working together, and he sent me a really awesome recommendation for EasyOrder. He took his time out of his day to write this, and I really appreciate that. But this is like Yelp. We can't control this. We can't change this. We can't change this. It's not like I can write this. So when somebody recommends you on LinkedIn, it's like a testimonial on Yelp, except there's no rating and there's nobody can give you. You can also approve or non-approve these. So if somebody is a jerk and says something rude, which they shouldn't, you can not show it. But you want to get these recommendations on your LinkedIn account. So you go out to LinkedIn, you create an account, you see who else that you know in your contacts is on LinkedIn, you link to them. You want to link to as many people as you can that are in your industry. It's really important to get a active LinkedIn profile. and it's also great for networking, especially if you have contacts in your area that you're working with. You can go to just the feed, and anybody who's posting stuff, start liking and commenting on stuff that is pertinent to you. So if you notice, say this is Dennis, and he's an owner at Green Peak Imaging Solutions. He's actually one of our subscribers. So everyone out there who knows alternative to QuickBooks, I'm tired of it, I'm done. So I could like this, and I could go, hey, I know I use this, and it's different than QuickBooks, and it's online, and I really like it. And what you're doing is you're establishing credentials on LinkedIn. You're showing yourself as an expert in your field. And so when people look at you and look at what you've commented on, you're sort of just, you're showing up. You're being a part of the LinkedIn. You're being part of the community. You're offering your expertise. And so when people look at your posts, because they can go and when they're checking you out, they can see what you've been posting. And, it looks like you have your stuff together. So this is kind of like the new business card. This is kind of like the new Yelp, except for it's not as harsh. And you want to spend time social marketing, because if you don't spend any time social marketing, you just have no footprint anywhere. And so if you want to go after a cut, here's the other thing. Now there's LinkedIn, and this is just basic LinkedIn. Now there's also LinkedIn for Business, okay? And this is the more important one for you guys. It's $78 a month, I think, is what it is. But the tools they give you are outweighing anything else you can spend your marketing dollars on. So this is LinkedIn Sales Navigator. This is like LinkedIn for business and sales together. So now this is not anybody and everybody on LinkedIn. This is just people who you've targeted. So when I explained this to my wife, and my daughter was sitting there, she goes, "Oh, this is like Facebook stalking for business." When her deal of Facebook stalking is when you don't really know the person, but you want to know more about them, and you just kind of lurk and look at their page and see what they're posting and learn more about them. That's what this is, but for business. I guess they're doing a promotion, 20% off by switching to an annual plan. So how you get these people to show up is you have to go find them as a lead. And so I have 114 leads. This is how I sell EasyOrder. So I'm sharing with you my sales tactics that'll work for you. So I sell EasyOrder this way. I have 114 leads saved. There's 338 accounts that I'm interested in going after. Leads are people. An account is a company. And so let's say I'm looking, and this is for you guys too. So let's say this is the biggest part of this group for LinkedIn. Let's say I'm looking for, lawyers, okay? Because lawyers print a ton. And so I want to target lawyers. So I'm going to say lawyers. And so it's going to come up with 527,000 results. Well, that's a ton of business to go after. But you do want to nail it down, because you're not going to do business with a lawyer in Australia or United Kingdom. So you want to narrow it down to the US. And so that gets you 227,000 results, 227,000 potential customers for you guys. And then you probably want to narrow it down even more, because that's too much. I mean, that's too much to go after. So you really want to do people who are active on LinkedIn, because you don't want to deal with people who, if they don't have a picture like this one, forget it. Don't even try, because that means they're not really into LinkedIn if they don't have a picture. So that's a good tip right there. But you can say, I want to limit this to only the people who posted on LinkedIn in the last 30 days. That means they're active, okay? And so now you look at this and you're like, okay, cool. And you can even break it down even further. So if you wanted to go into your area, you could, add the geography of your area. You can add, I'm in Austin, if you want to get really specific. Well, I don't know if that added when I did that. But anyway, you can get really specific. I won't do that right now, but look at everything that showed up. These are all lawyers. And these are all people who print a ton. I mean, I've had a lawsuit thing I had to deal with a couple years ago with a sales rep that kind of went rogue. And they printed just like tons and stacks of paper. I mean, they were just like, when they showed me my profile, it was just like all this paper. So they print a lot. And so these are great customers to go after. And so you can look at different things. I'm looking for right now. These are individual lawyers. I'm kind of looking for a practice. Well, there it goes. These are all practices. So let's say this is Jonathan Pollard, Pollard LLC. And this is the Pollard LLC company. You can go, there's a lawyer in Fort Lauderdale. You can go to his website and take a look at, what his website looks like. If you can get anything, if you can glean anything from this research you're doing about the customer and see kind of like what they're talking about, read about John Pollard. Maybe you have something in common with him. Maybe you grew up in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and that's where he's from. And so maybe you can start off with, when you send him a message, you can start off with, "Hey, I grew up in Fort Lauderdale, Florida too, and we're local to you," and that kind of stuff. But the thing about LinkedIn is, if I wanted to, and a lot of times this is a single guy who has he doesn't have any staff listed on EasyOrder. A lot of times when you're on LinkedIn, a lot of times when you're looking at certain people and certain firms, this is IGS Partners, you can see sometimes that they'll have 19 employees on the LinkedIn network. So I can view all their employees. And let's say, okay, I'm scoping up this IGS Partners. And so this person's a vice president, executive managing partner. Here's a sales associate, executive recruiter, associate recruiter, chief executive officer, associate recruiter, VIP services supervisor, team lead. All these people are in the company. And so you can basically go through here and go, okay, I'm going to skip the middle. I'm going to skip the gatekeeper, and I'm going to skip the middleman, and I'm going to go to, let's see, should I do, I'll do this guy, Cam Nelson. He's executive vice president, managing partner. So I can save him as a lead. And this is the company he's with, so I'll save that as a lead. And so that he's in my things as a lead. So I've targeted this guy because I want his business, and I'm choosing him as a lead. So now I can go view his account, and this is his company account. And then you can look at anything like, if they have news that they've shared, if they've had stuff they've shared on LinkedIn, you can look at all of that. And here's the updates he shared. So one comes down to one thing: how bad do you want it? He showed a football thing. So let's say, something about this football team, and you can lead in with that. So one thing about LinkedIn is that I don't know Cam Nelson at all. Like, he's not in my contacts. This is something else. So what LinkedIn gives you is in-mails. An in-mail is a way to message somebody who's not in your network and to send them something from your business. And so, for example, if I have email newsletters, okay, and I send out email newsletters to potential customers with my offerings, I get 300 emails a day personally. I have a thing that separates that out and makes it better. But 300 emails a day, and if you send me a newsletter, I'm not going to check it. It's probably not even going to get in front of my eyes, because I have newsletters that go somewhere else, to a different folder. And a lot of people have spam filters like that as well. So if you send me an email, I'm likely not going to read it. But with LinkedIn, I probably get 2 to 3 in-mails from other people in a week, and I get notified of that, and it takes me to my inbox, and I can see that. And so I'd much rather be, as a marketer, in the 1 to 2 emails a week in LinkedIn than the 300 emails that I get daily that I don't ever look at. And so, doing this all together, we've watched this, and we have gotten past the gatekeeper. We looked at everybody in the business and saw that Cam is the man. When it comes to this business, he's all about this. And so he's in Atlanta, Georgia. He did a post about football. If you know anything about that football team, you can send him an in-mail, and you can say, how about that football team in Alabama, and start off with that. And so he doesn't think it's like a sales call. You want to make this seemingly just like an easy conversation. And the more you know about Cam and his business, the more targeted you can make the message. You know, you can be like, how about the Atlanta whatever. I'm not a football guy, so I don't know who the Atlanta team is. But, you know, you start off with something familiar. He probably is going to click on that because he's a fan of the Atlanta football team. And he's going to be like, what's this? You know, and you'd be like, hey, Cam, I just wanted to reach out and, you know, introduce myself. I also follow the Atlanta Falcons or whatever. And my name's Kat Controlla, and I sell ink and toner. I know as a lawyer that, you know, your printing costs take up probably 20% of your business. And, you know, a lot of people are paying too much for their ink and toner. I'd love to give you a quote just to show you how we can help you, because we can probably save you about 30% off what you're buying already. And that's a super personal email that I just crafted. And Cam is way more likely, as the executive president of this company, to respond to that, because, again, he only has 1 or 2 probably in-mails a week in his inbox. If you make it really personal and don't just send like a blanket email out to everybody, you research them, you find out more about them, you send targeted emails to targeted people, you'll get people responding to you. I mean, even if people respond in the negative and say, no, you know, not right now, I have a contract with somebody else or whatever, you can always just say, hey, that's great. I'll check on you in a couple months and we'll see if you're in the same position, you know, but I just want to introduce myself. This conversation, once you click send, will be in your inbox. And so you can revisit people you've already emailed. And so also one tip, you only get 30 in-mails a month. And so your goal as a marketer with LinkedIn is to send 30 in-mails a month that are targeted. And that doesn't take a long time. I mean, if you sent one a day and just spent the time to send one a day, you'll get to 30 by the end of the month, you know. And so, you know, you target these people, and this is way more advanced marketing because you're not going after the wide net of whoever you can get a quote to, whoever you walked into the door and, you know, asked if you could get a quote. I mean, these are people, they look at this as you've spent time to market to them, you know, and if you don't make it seem as markety as you can, it just makes it better. And so you'll get way more responses from this than you would from blanket quoting, which is just sending it out to anybody and everybody that you can. You're targeting these customers, they're customers you want, because obviously this guy has 18 employees, and so he has an office this big. And you know, and if he asks about like, well, how are you going to service me? You're in Texas and I'm in Atlanta. You know, well, we drop ship all our products from our facility, so we can get the products to you right away. We have online ordering. We have a really easy online ordering system we can set up just for your location that has all the products you need. Once they respond to you, you can come back with more information about your business. But at first, just start off with the whole prospect of, I know you're paying about 20% of your entire revenue on printing, and we can help you with that, you know, and just, you know, if I can get you a quote, that'd be great. If not, no big deal. I'll check on you again in 2 months. And when you tell somebody, even on a phone call, if you call somebody and they say, hey, not right now, I don't have time to talk to you, just go, okay, well, I'll call you back tomorrow, or I'll call you back in 2 days, and call them back in 2 days. And if they go, hey, I really can't talk about this right now, no problem, I'll call you back in 2 days, and call them back in 2 days. I always end, when I talk to people, I always end with, well, I'm going to call you back at this time and date, because, you know, it just opens you up to call. It's like a warm call now because you told them you're going to call them, so you're going to call them. So anyway, using these LinkedIn tactics to go after people, to cut through the gatekeepers and go right to the people in charge is really powerful. And I've had more success marketing. I used to cold call cartridge businesses and try to offer my pitch to the person who answered the phone to get to the right person, and that just never really worked. I mean, they're gatekeepers trained to keep salespeople out. And so this kind of gets you through the gatekeepers. It expands your business to really anywhere you want to go in the world. And it gives you so many more people to go after. And again, you're not hitting the streets. You're not driving around. You're not dealing with the elements. You're sitting at your office, but you're still marketing in a more effective way. And a lot of times with the emails, can you attach something to it? I don't think you can. Yeah, you can. So in the case of Bill, you could take your little one sheet that I was talking about that I made the other day, and you can attach the one sheet to your InMail so that this information is getting to them along with your just simple message. Like, look, we have this super easy ordering system. And so with all that, it really does make for a powerful new way to market. And for people who are getting frustrated by, like I said, hitting the streets and sending out mass quotes, this is a great way to change your marketing game. And this is really the new way of marketing. It's called social marketing. You can also, also every business should have a Facebook page. I'm not going to get into Facebook right now. I'll do that in another seminar or webinar. But Facebook is also important. You want to have your profiles everywhere. You want to have, every time you post to Facebook, for it to post to Twitter. There's amazingly how many people you can find on Twitter that are doing the same thing as you're trying to sell to. So you can find people like that on Twitter. So this gives you a great way to find people and then to go back and use EasyOrder to quote that person. Also, obviously you can set them up an order form when they're ready to order. You can convert their order form and all that kind of stuff. So that's really kind of the long and short of it. I'm going to unmute everybody now and see if there are any questions. I know that Byron and Lisa are on chat. If you have any questions about what I just went over, let me know. Bill, do you have any questions on that?
I don't think so, Michael. Anything at all?
Just eyes and ears open.
Cool.
Thank you, Brad. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, man, no problem. Like I said, this is something that people don't know much about, and sometimes I'm not here just to talk about EasyOrder. Sometimes I'm just here to give you ways to market to new people. So this webinar will be recorded for Terry, who just jumped in at the last minute. It'll be on our YouTube channel. Our YouTube channel has tons of stuff in there. If you ever, like Byron, if you want to get some good information on EasyOrder, just go to our YouTube channel here, which I'm not able to get it to go to the channel. Okay. So this is our channel. It has every webinar that we've done already. And so if you want to go there and check out previous webinars that go over different things, it's all on our YouTube channel. It's just YouTube, and then search for RemanResource, and it's all there. Other than that, we do these webinars every week. They're very informal. They're just kind of show up and let's talk. If I have a subject that I want to talk about, or if people have been asking me about how to do certain things, I will go over it in the webinar. Otherwise, you can always schedule a one-on-one. Byron, if you'd like to do a one-on-one session with me, just email me at support@RemanResource.com, and you and I can do a one-on-one session where we really go into the nuts and bolts of how EasyOrder works. This one right here is the training for EasyOrder, and so if you want to go through and just watch the basics, you can watch it on this video right here. But just go through our YouTube channel and you get a lot of good info. All right, everybody, thank you for your time. I appreciate you guys today. I'll upload this webinar as it's edited later on today, and it'll be available anytime you need it.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, y'all. Have a good day.
Bye-bye.